Israel attacks Iran in series of pre-dawn airstrikes targeting military infrastructure. Welcome to Darkside Tale. Israel attacked Iran with a series of pre-dawn airstrikes Saturday in what it said was a response to the barrage of ballistic missiles the Islamic Republic fired upon Israel earlier in the month. The Israeli military said its aircraft targeted facilities that Iran used to make the missiles fired at Israel, as well as surface-to-air missile sites. There was no immediate indication that oil or missile sites were hit, strikes that would have marked a much more serious escalation, and Israel offered no immediate damage assessment. Explosions could be heard in the Iranian capital, Tehran, though the Islamic Republic insisted they caused only limited damage, and Iranian state-run media downplayed the attacks. Iran's army said 2 of its troops had been killed in the attack, Iran's Al-Alam television reported. Still, the strikes risk pushing the archenemies closer to all-out war at a time of spiraling violence across the Middle East, where militant groups backed by Iran, including Hamas in Gaza and Hezbollah in Lebanon, are already at war with Israel. The strikes filled the air for hours until sunrise in Iran. They marked the first time Israel's military has openly attacked Iran, which hasn't faced a sustained barrage of fire from a foreign enemy since its 1980s war with Iraq. Israel is also widely thought to have been behind a limited airstrike in April near a major air base in Iran in which the radar system for a Russian-made air defense battery was hit. Saturday's attack came as part of Israel's duty to respond to attacks on it from Iran and its proxies in the region, Agari said. The kingdom's foreign ministry said it rejected the escalation in the region and the expansion of the conflict that threatens the security and stability of the countries and people of the region. Nuclear facilities and oil installations were all seen as possible targets for Israel's response to Iran's October 1st attack, before U.S. President Joe Biden's administration won assurances from Israel in mid-October that it would not hit such targets, which would be a more severe escalation. Iran's military said the strikes targeted military bases in Ilam, Khuzestan, and Tehran provinces, without elaborating. It closed its airspace during the attack, but Iran's civil aviation organization said flights were resuming at 9 a.m., Iranian state news agency IRNA reported. Iran's state-run media acknowledged blasts that could be heard in Tehran and said some of the sounds came from air defense systems around the city. But beyond a brief reference, Iranian state television for hours offered no other details. Israel and Iran have been bitter foes since the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Israel considers Iran to be its greatest threat, citing its leaders' calls for Israel's destruction, their support for anti-Israel militant groups, and the country's nuclear program. During their years-long shadow war, a suspected Israeli assassination campaign has killed top Iranian nuclear scientists, and Iranian nuclear installations have been hacked or sabotaged, all in mysterious attacks blamed on Israel. Meanwhile, Iran has been blamed for a series of attacks on shipping in the Middle East in recent years, which later grew into the attacks by Yemen's Houthi rebels on shipping through the Red Sea corridor. The shadow war has increasingly moved into the light since October 7, 2023, when Hamas and other militants attacked Israel. They killed 1,200 people, mostly civilians, and took some 250 hostages into Gaza. In response, Israel launched a devastating air and ground offensive against Hamas, and Netanyahu has vowed to keep fighting until all of the hostages are freed. Some 100 remain, of whom roughly a third are believed to be dead. More than 42,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza, according to local health officials, who don't differentiate between civilians and combatants, but say more than half of the dead have been women and children. Thanks for watching.